Hey guys, Scott here. Today I'm going to do a comparison versus the Thermacell, the Repel Max DEET, and the Family Care Off. And I actually tested all three, and let's jump into what I found and what worked the best. So I was actually down in Florida and I tested this against no-see-ums that were they were everywhere, as well as mosquitoes. It was very buggy where I was at. So let's go through all three and I'll tell you kind of the pros and cons. Number one, the Off, the Family Care, the unscented. It probably feels the best going on. It leaves no residue and I really like that. And it worked great against mosquitoes, but as far as no-see-ums were concerned, it didn't do very well at all. I still got chewed up. Next, this is the Repel Max with the 40% DEET. And this worked great against mosquitoes. It worked great against no-see-ums, but I didn't like the residue, especially if I sprayed it on right before bed, or at one point I was in a tent, so I couldn't really wash it off because I was afraid the no-see-ums might get in the tent. So I wore it to bed. It really wasn't too bad, but it does leave a little bit of a film. Next is the Thermacell mosquito repellent, the backpacker version. And I got the backpacker version because it gives about a 15-foot radius where it says you won't have any mosquitoes or no-see-ums, any bugs. And I found this to work the absolute best within that 15-foot radius. So it worked really, really well, and it's something that if you're going to be seated, I would definitely recommend this, sitting around a campfire or maybe standing in that 15-foot radius. This worked great. Of course, once you got out of that 15-foot radius, then you would definitely need something like this as a backup or you're going to get eaten up. So I would say for being stationary, this one is the best. For moving around, this one worked the best for me. And if you have just mosquitoes, I've used this up in Michigan where there aren't any no-see-ums and it works out great. But once you add no-see-ums into the equation, you're gonna wanna stick with one of these two.